Yeah. What's going on, team? Welcome to this weekend's weekly market breakdown. Gonna give everybody till 11:30 to join, and then we'll get started. Give everybody 3 minutes. As always, the pairs we're gonna be going over are the ones that you see on my screen with the red flag next to their name. We will be going in order from the top to the bottom, starting off with AUDUSD and finishing off with US oil. We'll be going over the daily time frame, looking at our daily highs, daily lows, look at the market makers pattern on the daily time frame, the overall direction of the pair, whether we're uptrend, downtrend, consolidating. We'll look at the 4-hour time frame, same thing on the 4-hour. We'll look at the 4-hour high, 4-hour low, see if we have any continuations, 2 weeks of rise, 2 weeks of drop going into a third week. And then same thing on the 30-minute time frame. We'll go over our 30-minute highs, 30-minute lows, look for any continuations. Are we trending? Are we consolidating? Are we against the trend? Are we with the trend? And we'll do that with each and every pair. We'll look for entries, or not for entries, but we'll look for the best pair that looks the best for this upcoming trading week. Hey bro, what's good, Albert? Mr. Albert in the building. How are you, my brother? Hope all is well. Mr. Mike, good morning, good morning. All is good, bro. Glad to hear that. Oh, Kendo. Yo, what am I gonna do about it, man? Yo, Mike, what do I do, man? Let's start. Let's do it. I'm gonna give everybody another minute, and then I'll get started. Just want to make sure everybody's good. Damn. Oh yeah, and the people watching the recording, if you guys have any questions, you could always hit me up. Send me a message with a timestamp. Hey, this pair at this time, when you talked about this, this, and this. Right? Message me, tell me the timestamp, what pair, your question. So that way when we get in a car, whenever so I could go back to the stream and see what I talked about, give you good examples and stuff like that. Okay, so let's get started. So AU daily time frame, we know we're still in A2, which is the second zone of consolidation and a downtrend. We're looking for the break of structure, and we got the break. It was a beautiful break. Gave us a testing, came back up, testing candle, right? Gave us a confirmed break with these two candles here that closed below the first candle's wick, and they're not touching the break of structure line. And now we're getting the retest, right? So we know right now that we're not trading lower low, lower high, lower low, and what we see lower high here. Now, right now, we know that we're still trading in the daily time frame. Lower low, lower high, lower low. Right? So could price give us just a simple what we see now, right? If we put up our fib, we know that right now we're getting a 23.6, 38.2 fib retracement, which is cool. Right now, could we get this? Yeah, because lower time frame, there's a little zone of consolidation with a break of structure retest. On this time frame, we have the bounce off the 50 EMA, which is what we're looking for on level 3, right? So we have a lot of confluence in this area to continue to look for shorts for this pair. However, there's two things that I'm really looking at, which the number one thing being the gap in the market, right? Which is, again, if we're making lower low and lower high, could price push up to this high here, give us a lower high here, and then continue that push back down to the bottom? Absolutely. So it's really just about looking at structure at this point, right? Higher time frame is like, okay, cool, we could potentially see price just giving us a retest into this zone, and then we'll continue that push down to the bottom, right? But then the lower time frames we go, we'll also have that confirmation, right? Price giving us 4 hours lower lows and lower highs. We know that in the lower time frame, there's a zone of consolidation, break, retest. So again, we have a lot of confirmation, a lot of confluence, really telling us that this is where price should continue to go lower. And again, it would make sense because this is where price seems like it's doing lower lows and lower highs. Regardless, right now what we got to look for is, we know that we're still uptrending on the 30-minute, because on the 30-minute, price is giving us those higher highs. So then on the higher time frame, you're making price go from lower low to lower high. So at this point, regardless, before I could even continue to look for a trade, what I need to see is a lower lows and lower highs on the 30-minute time frame. And right now we're still making higher highs and higher lows. And then we'll talk about something else, which is the 372. Right, after 3 days of rise, we know the market's either going to go up, is either going to move sideways, or it's going to go down, right? So in this case, we have 3 days of rise. After 3 days of rise, we know the market's going to move sideways or go down. So could we expect price, at least for the beginning of the week, could we expect price to go back down and give us a little pullback? Absolutely. So again, right now, how price is reacting, we just got to give it just a little bit of time. I'm going to use this entire zone for a 30-minute high. This 30-minute high is super small if we just use the green candle. Same thing with the bottom. The bottom we could get away with it, but I like having a nice zone. Right, so right now, no continuations. For right now, AU, we know we're still getting a pullback. Again, the question just really stems, which is, how far is this pullback going to be? Right, how steep is a pullback going to be? Right, are we going to get just the 4 hour and the 30-minute time frame pullback, which would be somewhere in this area? Or is price going to give us a steeper pullback that stems from the daily time frame, where we could be expecting price to go up a little bit higher to continue the pullback, right? Lower low going into the lower high. So again, at this moment, we have no continuations, nothing on the daily, nothing on the 4. We don't really have any engulfing candles. We had one about a week or two ago, right? Price had the 15-minute engulfing candle up at these highs. So again, could price just literally give us this deep of a pullback in the lower time frame to then continue that push back down to the bottom? Of course. But again, I'm not really too fond of this right now. And price bouncing off the 50, yep, we said that as well. The daily time frame, the confirmations again would just be that 23.6, 38.2 fib retracement. We have the bounce off the 50. Then on the lower time frame, this same entry area would be, again, just a zone of consolidation, break and retest. Lower low and lower high, this could just be the pullback. And then on the 30-minute, we have the 3 days of rise. So again, we have a lot of confirmations to look for entries here. Do we have confirmations, enough confirmations to get into a trade as soon as the market opens? No. But we have enough confirmation to at least sit here and wait for price to give us an entry and then continue to trade. So AU is definitely one that I'm going to keep on my watch list for this week. But again, as of right now, there's not enough confirmation for us to get into a trade here. Price is still, end of the day, still giving us higher highs and higher lows on the 30 minutes. So until we don't start seeing price giving us lower lows and lower highs, there's not going to be any trades for us. EA, we are in level 3, right? We had the peak low formation, double bottom. Price gave us push 1 in the uptrend. First zone of consolidation. Push number 2 on the uptrend. Second zone of consolidation, which is V2. And then we had the break of structure, push number 3. Right? The only thing, when we got the break, we never really got a clean pullback. You know, I guess we could call this just a small pullback from the break. And then the continuation. So at this point too, we had 2 months of rise, this month being the third month. Price already gave us that third push as soon as the month started, right? And when we're looking at our peak high, we know price is going to go up just a little higher, so we do have enough room to look for more trades on Euro AUD as the weeks go on. On the 4 hour, let's also add a few lines here on the 4 hour. Give me 1 second, so we don't have to do this every single time we do the session. Get ahead of the schedule. We had a week of rise last week, and then this week price gave us a week of drop. We're pretty close to this being a no net. Well, not really. We're 60 pips. Okay. Damn, how many fucking pips does EA move? That's crazy. So we have a week of counter drops, so no continuations. And then on the 30-minute, golly, 300 pips? What the fuck happened to EA? This is not a pair that usually moves 300 pips. This week was crazy. And we just consolidated, so it wasn't even like price moved that much into one direction. 318 pips is ADR. That's 213 pips STP. Think about it. I haven't even updated this in a long time. When I did an STP for this pair, it was 87 pips, and we're now sitting at STP at 213 pips. In a week where price just moved sideways, we've moved so much. Yeah, it's crazy. Alright, so right now for EA, just kind of waiting for a pullback. We have no continuations. Right, we're at a higher high, looking for price to give us a higher low. Pretty similar to AU when it comes to the gap, right? So could we potentially see price give us a steeper pullback and give us that to fill this gap at the bottom and then continue that push to the top side? It could be something that could happen. But at this point, just seeing how price is moving at these higher highs in the lower time frames, instead of getting a traditional pullback, right? And we'll talk about this too. What do I mean about a traditional pullback? Well, we know the market moves in 2 ways. There's 2 phases in the market. When it's trending, whether it's an uptrend or a downtrend, right? Yo, I'm just doing the class right now. You're good. So you have when the market is trending, right? Making higher highs and higher lows in an uptrend, downtrending, right? Lower lows and lower highs. And then you have when the market is consolidating. So, Lewis, what do you mean by this? Why does this matter? Why are you showing us this? Well, it's super simple, right? You got to think about it, how the market moves. So, if price, let's say in this case, I'll give you the example of EA, right, is making higher highs and higher lows. Well, what does this mean? Whenever price is making higher highs and higher lows, specifically when it's making the higher lows, there's 2 things that is going to happen. A lot of people, when they draw structure, they draw it just like this, right? When price is just trending every single time. But what if price doesn't want to trend and it doesn't give you a pullback higher low, but it gives you a zone of consolidation instead, right? Meaning, if price is giving you higher high, higher low, higher high, what if at the higher high, price just decides to consolidate? What are you looking for? Right? You know there's 2 possible entries that you could look for. You could either wait for price to give you an inducement of the low, to then continue the push to the top side, which we would call a type 1 pattern, right? Or you will be looking for price to give you a break of the zone of consolidation or retest to then continue, right? So this is pretty much what we're waiting for here. The same thing that happened a few weeks ago, where price just consolidated instead of giving you a steep pullback the way it did every single other time here. We could just be looking for price on the lower time frame to do the same thing. Instead of giving us a steep pullback, we'll just get a zone of consolidation. So right now, it's again, just gotta be patient just a little bit. Wait for the markets to give us the exact thing that we need to look for. Let the market speak to you. Right now, these candlesticks need a print. These candlesticks need to tell us a story, and they're not doing anything right now. They're telling us they're not ready to be traded, and we can see that. We have no break of the lows. We have no break of the highs. You know, even on the lower time frame, this zone of consolidation, we could say that this is just a shoulder head shoulder. So regardless, we already know what we're looking for. If price decides to come down here and give us an inducement of the low and then start making higher highs and higher lows, we know we could take this trade back to the highs. If price decides to break these lows, then we know we're going to continue this downtrend down into the gap. Right? If price breaks above these highs, then we know we could take this trade back up to the top. So it's just really about waiting. Right now we're in the middle of the zone of consolidation. We're in the middle of the range. This is where you could see the middle of the zone is where the market makers are trapping traders, making everybody believe in the middle. What happened? Boom, break the lows. What happens? Hits everybody's stop loss. Right? Comes back down to the lows. Make everybody believe that this is going to be the break and the retest. And then what happens? Straight into stop loss. Right in the middle of the zone of consolidation, what happens? Make everybody believe that this is going to be the continuation trend to continue to push to the top side. Not only that, but they printed an exhaustion candle, right, in a lower time frame, shoulder head shoulder. What do you think people did here? Everybody got into these buys. Hell yeah. Right? We're above our zone. Like, there's so much. Again, once you see the market in the way that we do, it's so much easier to understand when it's a good time to take a trade and when it's a good time to take a step back and just look at the market. Because everything that we're seeing here, we are seeing this in live time. We speak about this every single day, especially when we do our live trading sessions. Right? Why I'm so adamant about what trades I'm looking at, what pairs I'm not. So just got to be able to look at all of this in live time. Again, for a lot of people say it's difficult. It's too hard. It's too much information, but it's really not. Right? We know the market has two types of moves. We know the moves that they have to make because they do this every single day. It's not something we're making up. It's not something that we don't see. We see these moves every single day on every single pair in the market. Whether you're trading Forex, options, bonds, commodities, metals, energies, it doesn't matter what you're trading. This is all the same thing. It all moves the exact same way. In this case, you know, this pair is moving a lot. You know, could we still be a no net instead of 2 days of rise? We can be. So I'm gonna just mark it as 2 days of rise for now on the 30-minute. You know, and again, this is not a pair that I'm really keeping an eye on, but because we're sitting at a higher high. Zone of consolidation, in the middle of the zone of consolidation, as I explained, I'm not really gonna put this on my watch list for this upcoming week just yet, but we'll keep it on. Oh, my bad. That type 1 pattern looked like a booty at the double bottom. What the fuck? Low probability 372 middle of the zone. Yeah, exactly. Exactamente. Oh my bad, I got a message on Discord. By the way, Mike, I saw your message yesterday, like the charts that you sent me. I didn't look through all of them. But what I'll do is I'll look at it after the stream. Like right after I finish here, I'll do it on stream. I'll go over what you sent me, and then that way, it also would be a little bit of good content to have for people to watch. Low probability 372 exhaustion candle on daily, didn't get a clean break. Thanks, no problem, my brother. For EURCAD, we were in V1. V1 is the first zone of consolidation on an uptrend. We finally got the break of the zone of consolidation. We're looking for price to give us higher high, higher low. We got a little bit of a pullback, a very short pullback, where price gave us higher high, higher low, then gave us another higher high. Now hasn't given us a closure above, so this is just still testing. And again, on a lower time frame, we could roll this out as a little zone of consolidation, where price is rejecting highs and rejecting lows. It's still a small zone of consolidation, but we could see that. We could say that all of this is a zone of consolidation, where price is rejecting highs and rejecting lows. So Again, it's still a very small zone, so I'm not gonna rule it out yet as a zone of consolidation. But again, we could see that. We could see where price is rejecting the highs and the lows. Right. With that being said, again, I'm not gonna take any trades. Very similar to Euro AUD. Very similar to Euro AUD. Again, in the sense that yes, we have the break that we were looking for. Perfect. Price is in an uptrend. Perfect. The only thing we're missing is really for price to give us a pullback. On top of the fact that we need a pullback, again, this is also another pair that has a gap at the bottom of the market. So again, the question just stems. We know that we need to make a higher low, right? We know we need a pullback, right? So the question is, again, are we going to get this pullback to then continue? Are we going to get this pullback here to then continue? Are we going to get this pullback here to then continue, right? Could we get this pullback here to then continue? Could we also get a pullback here to then continue? Like, we have so many areas in the market where we could expect a pullback, right? So again, we could sit here and draw out different points of interest. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Having different points of interest gets you ready for the next trading day. So there's nothing wrong with having a point of interest. However, once you have a point of interest, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm getting into a trade as soon as price gets here, I'm gonna take a trade. Like, no, you have to be patient with it. If price gets to your point of interest but doesn't start giving you higher highs and higher lows, what are you trading? Right? Are you just gonna get into a buy position because price tapped into your point of interest and fuck it? Right? No, like, you have to wait for those rules, and those rules are gonna be that change of character. It's gonna be the break of structure. It's gonna be the flip in structure. When price is giving you lower lows and lower highs, as soon as we start making higher highs and higher lows, and we start getting candlestick analysis where price is giving us exhaustion candles or is giving us engulfing candles, that's when we want to start getting into trades. So right now, again, when it comes to ECAD, I'm not really, we can't sit here and say that in the daily time frame this is higher high and higher low just yet, because we don't have a valid break in the daily time frame. On the 4-hour, we can. On the 4-hour, we could say this is higher high, higher low, and higher high. So on the 4-hour, let's go ahead and update this. And once again, we know that on the 4-hour we have the change of character and we have the break. So once again, if we don't get this valid break, this is another good thing to continue to look at. Regardless, at the end of the day, we know that we haven't started this uptrend push just yet, up until we make that break of structure. Once we make that break of structure, if price gives us the break, then perfect. We'll take those trades back to the top side after we get a retest. No problem. But until then, we can't sit here and say that this is a break. We know that this is still testing. We know that these candles could still real simply go back down to the bottom. So right now, let's do this. Let's add the 4-hour low. I'm not gonna add the 4-hour high just yet until we get the break. If we don't get the break, I'm not putting that 4-hour high there. I'm gonna use this entire zone just for the sake of having a nice zone, and then we have a weaker rise. So again, no continuations just yet, but it is looking good. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we had a day of rise, and then price gave us 2 days of rise. And then again, at this point, there's two things I want to keep an eye on, which again is structure. 30-minute structure, we know that at one point we had lower low, lower high, lower low, and then price gave us a change of character. So right now we're not trading between a change of character break of structure, we're just trading a change of character, which again could mean that this is just an inducement in the market and we haven't started this uptrend push just yet. So once again, we have a lot of confirmation here, we have a lot of confluence, we have the weaker rise, we have the break of structure, daily time frame, same thing. We would have a lot of confirmations here. So again, at least keep this as a point of interest to take a trade, to look for a trade. But do we have enough confirmations to get into the trade as soon as the market opens? No. Right now we don't. We're sitting at a higher high, with a 372. It's not really the best point of interest to take a trade. Not a high probability trade. On top of the fact, okay, we have 2 days of rise, but we don't have a break of structure. If we would have gotten a valid break of structure on the 4-hour time frame, just think about it. If price would have given us a valid break of structure and then would have given us this pullback, and then we would have had that 372, then you know we're taking that trade 100% of the time. 100% of the time. But the fact that price gave us just a testing candle and then the pullback and then the 372, no thanks. It's giving us exhaustion candles on the daily time frame. It's giving us, let's see, do we have any other exhaustion candles in the lower time frame? No. Right, no other exhaustion candles. We had one here, but then price filled it up. So, again, not enough confirmations to take a trade here, guys. A lot of these trades are moving very, very similarly. Again, if the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, they give us a valid break, especially on that 4-hour, then okay, cool. We'll start looking for trades Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But as of right now, nothing crystal clear. Question here, at the daily 4-hour and the 30-minute high, should you have the rectangle on the highest green candle, which broke above the rectangle? So when you're looking at, I'll give you the example on, let's go to a pair that's kind of more easier to see. So when you're looking at your daily high and daily low, right, we know that daily time frame you're trading higher high, higher low, higher high. We got the break here. So when I'm looking at my daily low, my rectangle, I'm looking at the last red in the down, right, the rectangle at the bottom. You're looking at the last red candle before the push to the top side. You're looking for the lowest. The number one thing you're looking for is the lowest candle between the break. So you had the break here from here to here, right? What's the lowest candle between here to here? The lowest candle, right, is this one here. So I'm putting my box at the lowest point, which is the wick, and I'm looking at the red candle before the push to the top side. And in this case, that's the red wick, the red candle before the push to the top side. My bad. Right? So on the uptrend now, at the top, you're putting your box at the highest point, right, where the higher high is made. So the highest point is the wick, and then you're putting the bottom at the last green candle before the push to the downside. So in this case, the highest point to the last green candle before the push. And that's the same on every time frame. It's the same thing. On the 4-hour, for example, the break happens from here to here. The lowest point, once again, the lowest point between the highs and where the break happened, the lowest point is here. So I'm putting my blue candle, or I'm sorry, not my blue candle, my blue bottom, which is the 4-hour low. I'm putting it at the lowest candle, which is whatever wick is at the lowest point. And again, the last red candle before the push to the top side. And then my higher high is all the way up here. Same thing, the highest candle, which is the wick, the green wick, and then the last green candle before the push to the bottom, which is this one. So I'm putting it from this wick to the green wick, to the green body here. Same thing on the 30-minute. So now Euro USD, we are in V1. We were looking for a break of structure of the zone of consolidation. Did we get a break? Not yet. We're still testing, but this is looking good. We have 2 months of rise. This month being the 3rd month. Price already gave us that push. Once again, we're looking for that break. So as long as price gives us a break, then we'll be perfect. And at one point we're trading lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Little inducement, and price gave us a change of character, higher high. So let's change this to daily BOS, but we're actually going to change this to daily change of character. Change this to blue, I mean. Then visibilities just on the daily time. We have a daily change. We're looking for that daily break. No, I'm sorry, I did this incorrectly. I fucked up. Here we're looking for the break of structure. Right, and then the change of character on the daily time frame happens here. I thought I So now we know that we're trading between this low and then the high that we currently have. We don't have a set high, but I'm just going to add it for now. So between this high and these lows. Then on the 4-hour, we have a weaker rise. And this week we had a second week of rise. Perfect. This is looking good. So now we know third week high. And we know that we're trading on the 4-hour higher high, higher low, higher high. And then on the 30-minute, we had rise no net, reset the trend, then gave us a day of rise, 2 days of rise, and we have a third day, which the third day push is also the third week high. Maybe I shouldn't have that long. And I could just do this, third week high, 372. Now, once again, is this a high probability trade? The fact that we don't have a valid break yet on the daily time frame, the fact that on the daily time frame price already gave us a third push, a third month high, the fact that on the daily time frame we're trading at a higher high, again, already puts us in a clear advantage of understanding that, okay, this is most likely not a high probability trade. This is most likely not going to be a high probability trade. So again, it's all about being patient, waiting for the entry confirmations, and then getting onto the trades. Mr. Jazz, what's good, my brother? It's a 50-50 trade, exactly. It's low probability. I thought before we were looking for a retest, we're looking for a drop or no net, then 2 days of rise. I thought before looking for a reset. What do you mean? A reset happens regardless of anything else, right? A reset happens if you have a gap in the market, for example, right? You have a reset. If price gives you a no net, is a reset. So you on the third day, right? You got a rise no net. You'll be looking for a 4th day push, right? You got the 4th day push, but this isn't 4 days of rise. This is just 1 day of rise because it reset the trend with the no net. So then 1 day of rise, then you have the 2nd day of rise. So that no net, it resets the trend, but if you get the rise no net, not only does it reset the trend, but you'll most likely always be looking for that 4th day push. And if you get the 4th day push after the rise no net, then again, that's just 1 day of rise. Then price gives you the 2nd day of rise, and then you'll be looking for the 372. Can you explain the exhaustion candle and why it was low probability? I think the pair was EURCAD. Yeah, we could go over EURCAD again. Can you explain the exhaustion candle and why it was low probability? So, very simple with EURCAD. There's many reasons why this is low probability, right? Let's talk about just the number one reason. Let's start from the top to the bottom, right? Number one, where are we? We're at a higher high. So again, are you taking a trade going long at a higher high, or would you rather take a trade going long at a higher low, right? It would make more sense to take a trade at a higher low to continue into a higher high, right? The exhaustion candle. What's an exhaustion candle? Right, so that's the number one thing. If you don't know what an exhaustion candle is, if you don't know what it looks like, then you're just not gonna know what an exhaustion candle is, right? But we'll draw it out. An exhaustion candle going long, which means exhaustion, right? What does the word exhaustion means? When you're tired, you no longer can move, right? You're really tired. So just think about it. If a candlestick prints as a bullish exhaustion candle, it means that it's tired. It's not going to continue to push to the top side, or vice versa. If it prints a bullish exhaustion candle, then you know, or a bearish, sorry, then you know that it's gonna go down. So, or you know it doesn't want to go down anymore, it's tired, so it's gonna go the opposite way. So you have the wick, then you have the body. This would be a bullish exhaustion candle. And then a bearish exhaustion, if you have the wick, and then a small body. And this is again just on the daily time frame. If we go, dude, fuck, man, to the lower time frames, why is a low probability? Again, we're in a zone of consolidation and don't have a valid break yet of the highs. It's just a testing candle. So not only are we at the top of the zone of consolidation, but we're also at the top of the zone of consolidation before a break of structure. So again, low probability because you're not looking to take trades going high at the top of the zone of consolidation because price already rejected the highs. The same way that you wouldn't look for sells at the bottom of the zone of consolidation before a break of structure because you know price is just going to go right back to the top side. So that's another reason why this is low probability. And then on the 30-minute, once again, only thing we have is a change of character. We don't have a change of character and a break of structure. So because of that, this 372 is low probability. This price could just reject the highs the same way that it did here to then continue that push down to the bottom. And if you notice it, is the same thing that happens here. So in order for us to look for the 372 to happen, we need to see the confirmations, which is the break, the retest, the continuation, right? This is a little type 2 pattern. It'll be the same thing tomorrow at the market open for this. So I don't remember what pair we left off on. I think we were on GA. We were on EU. Didn't we do EU already? We did 372, right? Yeah. So we left off on EU. Right. So low probability for EU at 372. We're sitting at a higher high. We don't have a break just yet. We'll wait this one out as well. We'll see what we could look for. GA daily time frame. We are in level 3. Once again, we were in an uptrend, or we are in an uptrend still in level 3. We had the first push, the first zone of consolidation V1, second push, second zone of consolidation V2, and then we got push number 3 after the break. Right? We had the break of structure, we had the retest, higher high, higher low, and then price gave us the higher high, gave us 2 months of rise. This month being the 3rd month, as soon as the month started, price pushed up to the top side. Never really gave us an opportunity to take a trade. On the 4-hour time frame, we have a week of rise. Let's add a few lines here. Add a few lines here real quick. And then we'll keep going. Have a week of drop. Come back to the daily. Do we need to update our daily high? No. Still trading in the same daily high, higher high. On the 4-hour, same thing. On the 4-hour, I actually gotta update this real quick. Let's see. On the 4-hour, we had that break, then that break gave us. I'm gonna say all of this is part of the same trade, or all of this is part of the same trend. Higher high, higher low, boom, higher high. I'm not gonna mark this as higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low on the 4-hour time frame. That just doesn't make any sense. So I'm trading between this higher low. That's what we were talking about, I believe, like on Tuesday or Wednesday this week, where I wanted to wait and see what I wanted to do with this, with these lows and highs here. This is the only thing that makes sense. Right, so then No continuations on GA. Do we have any gaps that I missed? No, just on level 3, and then peak high. We know that we're still, oh, we've reached peak high already. Okay. Yeah, so GA is just another one of those pairs where right now I'm not really going to be looking for any entries just yet. Then we have 30-minute higher high, higher low. Boom. Price went down. This is where I'm just not liking structure here. Yo, there's so many fucking mosquitoes still in this room. The shit I hate about moving is like, yo, I'm not gonna keep opening and closing my door to keep that shit open, but then the mosquitoes come in. Again, I'm just kind of looking at structure here for EA or for GA real quick, because could we just continue this trend? You know, absolutely. Obviously, right now we're still making lower lows and lower highs in the internal time frame, but gave us a nice little 30-minute zone consolidation on the 800. Gave us a break. After it gave us the break, we went right back down to the bottom. So if price could give us somewhat of a move in the beginning of the week, then we'll be able to really look for something. And when it comes to structure, we're gonna say this is pretty much trading between this high. No, let's take a step back here. On the 30-minute, we're trading higher high, higher low. I'm not gonna mark this, right? And then where it gets kind of tricky is, right, do we want to say that this is higher high? Dude, fuck. Higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right, so that would mean that I'm looking at this like this, which again would make sense. So I think that's what we're gonna do to give us enough room to kind of find better entry and to have better structures. Like the times I don't want that in my hand, it's in my hand. The times that I need it, it doesn't work. So we're trading between this low and again this high over here. GCAD on the daily time frame, we're in level 3 in an uptrend. Right, we have push 1, push 2, push 3. Price gave us 2 months to rise. This month being the 3rd month, hasn't given us that 3rd push. So GCAD is still going to be number 1 on my watch list to look for entries for the entirety of this month. We have a week of drop last week. This week, price gave us 2 weeks of drop counter going against the trend. Let's add a few lines here on the 4-hour time frame. Nothing to update on the 4-hour, and then on the 30-minute, we're still trading lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low. We had a day rise on Thursday, then Friday gave us a no net. So no continuations, no change of characters just yet. So we're at our point of interest where we want to start looking for trades, but still nothing valid as of right now. No engulfing candles, no real exhaustion candles, no continuation, so we'll just continue to wait this one out. GJ, let's go to the daily. Still technically in peak high territory, still in an uptrend, still making higher highs and higher lows. In our journey to the higher high, price started consolidating. In this zone of consolidation, hold on guys, give me a second. And then we have a zone of consolidation where price is just rejecting highs and rejecting lows. It still hasn't given us a clean break of the lows, still hasn't given us a clean break of the highs. Price is just moving sideways, just trapping traders the entire time. No continuations either. Let's I don't have to do this, but it's all good. Go to the 4-hour. Alright, on the 4-hour, we're still, as you guys can see, we're just stuck in the zone of consolidation. No real moves just yet, no continuations. We had a weaker drop last week. This week, price gave us a no net. Price is just moving sideways. And then our 30-minute, this is where the real change is going to apply, which we're still just trading between the previous lower low and lower high that we have. So no continuations either. We're pretty close to this being a no net. I'm gonna add it as a no net, but if we have to change this and put it as a day of rise when the market opens, then we'll do that. But right now I'm not really trading GJs, so I don't care. Daily time frame on GU, where are we? V1, first zone of consolidation. We had the break of structure. After the break, price gave us a retest, gave us a higher high, higher low, and then now price is giving us those pushes to the top side. Gave us 2 months of rise, this month being the 3rd month, gave us that 3rd push to the top side. Perfect. After it gave us that 3rd push to the top side, what did it give us? It gave us a push right back down to the bottom. So in the first literally 2 weeks, price is just doing whatever it wants to do. No continuations just yet. We had 4 weeks where price is just moving sideways. Then we finally got the break, the retest, and the continuation. Gave us a week of rise. And then on the 30-minute, price gave us the change of character. Didn't really give us a break of structure, never really gave us a pullback. Price just continued the trend, gave us 3 days of rise, gave us 4 days of rise, gave us a change of character, but never gave us a pullback so we could say, oh yeah, this is a change of character, higher high, higher low, break of structure, higher high, higher low. All of this is really part of the same trend. Now, could we sit here and say, well, you can see this is higher high, higher low, and this is the higher high? Not really. It's not really what I want to see. I want to see a steep pullback. I want to see something where I could sit here and be comfortable being able to say like, okay, yeah, we'll have a continuation for price to continue these pushes to the top side. But again, we're sitting at the higher high. We already made that 3rd month push to the top side. You know, I'm not really expecting price to just continue that push to the top side. Again, very similar to EU because these pairs move very identical, very similar. Could we expect price for, like I said, EU to really continue this push to the top side? Right now, it's low probability. We're sitting at a higher high. Don't have a break of structure just yet. All we have is a change of character. And again, we still know we have these gaps at the bottom of the market. So really just about being patient, guys. Waiting for the market to give us the right confirmations to then start taking the trades. And as of right now, again on the 30-minute, you know, for structure's sake, I'm not going to say this is higher high, higher low. This is just all part of the same trend. Part of the same trend. And we'll just be patient for right now. US30, yeah, US30, gold, Bitcoin, and oil. I'm not really gonna talk about them on stream. I'm gonna update them here, but I'm not gonna talk about them until the live trading sessions. So just bear with me while I update this. Still making lower low and lower high. We still got these gaps at the top. Right, so daily time frame we're downtrending, 4-hour we're downtrending, 30-minute we're downtrending too. Still making lower low, lower high, and then boom, lower low. This is another situation where, can I even say that this is lower low, lower high? Because then I would have to say that this is lower low, lower high, and then I have to say, you know what I mean? So, is structure wise, this isn't even. I think I talked about this too on Tuesday. Structurally speaking, this isn't lower low, lower high. All of this is part of the same trend. So we're technically trading between this 30-minute high over here, which again is all the same difference, right? It's still pretty much trading the same point of interest that we're looking at. However, when we're going to be looking for the breaks to happen, we need to make sure we have the right highs and lows set. And then we have no continuations. We have a day of drop on Thursday. Friday gave us a day of rise. And once again, it's really just the question of what's going to be our pullback. Was this going to be the lower high to continue into a lower low? No. Was this the pullback to continue from lower high to lower low? Right now, price is coming back up. So again, could this be the lower high? Could this be the lower high? Could a lower high here be made? Could a lower high here be made? Right? Absolutely. So we just want to be patient. Like I said, we still got these gaps at the top of the market where this could simply be the lower high because we have this gap. Start looking for trades going short somewhere in this area. So, there's no rush in this game. Just going to continue to be patient when it comes to US30. Just going to keep it updated, like I said. And then we'll keep going. So USDCAD. Daily time frame, we're in peak high territory. We're in the highest point in the market. At the highest point in the market, price gave us a shoulder head shoulder, gave us that push, shoulder head shoulder, gave us a little zone of consolidation, gave us a break of the low. So perfect. No continuations just yet. Again, could we sit here and say that this is finally downtrending after being in an uptrend? Could we finally start saying that this is where the downtrend is going to start? I'm not fond of it. I don't think I'm going to say that just yet until after we see the first push happen in level 1. But even on the 4 hour, this looks good. On the 4 hour, we had the change of character, we have the break of structure, we had the retest. Level 1, we're looking for price bounce off the 50. We were on the 50, gave us exhaustion candles. We're trading still lower low, lower high. This is the lower low here. Just really trying to gather every type of information that we can, the most type of information. And then on the 30-minute, same thing. We had 2 days of drop, gave us a third day. Can't really ask for more. Then we're still trading lower low, lower high, and then all of this is part of the same trend. We're still trading at this lower low over here. Then we have 3 days of drop. So again, right now this is still a pair that I'm not really keeping an eye on. I'm just letting price do what it has to do. USDZAR. Let's go ahead and see some of the drawings here. USDZAR, we are in V2 still. We're in the second zone of consolidation, looking for that break of structure. So then we could start looking for that push to the top so to give us that level 3 push. Still have this gap at the bottom of the market. Once again, just kind of waiting to see where price wants to give us a pullback to. We had 2 weeks of rise. This week being the third week, price gave us that third week push to the top side and then finished on a no net. Very steep pullback, so was not something that I'm expecting price. A fourth week push is not something I'm expecting price to give us because this pullback is so steep towards the end of that third week high. And then on the 30-minute, we had a change of character. We have the break of structure, so we're trading now between this lower high here. You guys can see right now, even price, the way it's moving, it doesn't seem likely that we'll get that push to the top. Then we have a day of drop, and we'll update our 30-minute high when the market's open, or 30-minute lows. And then gold, Bitcoin, and oil again, guys. That's pretty much it. I'm not really gonna go over these on stream. But any questions, any other pairs you guys want me to go over, anything you guys want me to talk about? For daily high, we still don't have one that's set. Our 4 hour high, we're still trading higher high, higher low, and higher high. Any questions, any other pairs you guys want me to go over, anything you guys want me to explain? Any trades you guys took that you guys want me to talk about or explain or kind of go over? Then on the 30-minute, we have low, lower high, lower low. right? And then this is where again price just starts moving slowly. And I don't want to sit here and say that this is higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Like this is just not, there's not enough, right? I could potentially say that this is where higher high, higher low, and then higher high. We're trading between this low and this high, but even then, again, this is still not a. There's not significant pullbacks on gold for me right now for me to say that I like trading these smaller structures. Plus, we already had 3 days of rise. After 3 days of rise, the market must go down or move sideways. So, I'm not expecting price for gold to just continue this push. I am expecting price for gold to at least give us a smaller pullback on, or a small pullback on the lower time frames. We have a 1 hour engulfing candle here, green, green, red. Price closed below, gave us the pullback, but we would be in drawdown if we took this trade, right? Price still hasn't given us a change of character, still hasn't given us lower lows and lower highs. Maybe on the lower time frame, we could start seeing that, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price failed to give us a low here. So we're still just uptrending on every time frame. So we just gotta be patient when it comes to gold too. Just be patient with that entries. All good gold. If you see no trades, how are we gonna see a trade? I don't know, man. And some of the 372 at a higher high, which fucks it up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right now there's not a lot of shit to look at. Bitcoin, we're still sitting in peak high. It's just stuck in the zone of consolidation still. Could we say that we're stuck in it? Do we have a valid break of the lows? We had the valid break of the lows already. But price is just still stuck here. It's just consolidating on the lower time in the lower time frames. So, as much as I would say, yeah, we're gonna finally start this downtrend, it's the same thing as like US30. Right now, there's not enough information for us to sit here and feel confident in saying, yeah, this is what looks good. There's not many of those pairs today or for this week. Again, the only one that I'm continuously the one that I'll continue to look at. How do you say that fucking word? That's crazy. Will be GCAD, and again, it's not even something that I'm looking for this week specifically. It's more for the rest of the month, right? So that's the only pair that we have with the third month high, that third month push. So, right now for Bitcoin, we also don't have any continuations. We have a week horizon now. And the 4 hour, we're still just trading lower low, lower high, lower low. 30-minute, we're trading pretty much the same thing. On the 30-minute, we had this low here break and give us this high and this low. That's pretty much it. We're pretty much trading a very big zone. Yeah, we'll go over that now, Mike. We'll go over that now. And then oil. We're finally in level 2. We were in A1 in a downtrend. Got the break of the zone of consolidation. Did we get a valid break of the daily lows? Let's see. We had a testing candle, boom, closure below, and then a retest. Perfect. So we're definitely starting that level 2 drop. No continuations just yet on the daily time frame. On the 4 hour, we have a weaker drop, and then this week price gave us a week of no net, so no continuations on the 4 hour. And then we have a valid 4 hour break where we finally got a break, change of character, 4 hour change of character, lower low. We'll change this to red. We know we're trading between this 4 hour high up here and then these 4 hour lows down And then on the 30-minute, we had price give us lower low, lower high, lower low. Pretty much still trading the same. I'm not, at one point we were trading lower low, lower low, higher high, change of character, higher high, higher low. But this is also a situation where uh, I'm not really. There's two ways that I'm looking at this, and the reason why is because of this crazy wick here, right? This exhaustion candle that we had. Could we say this is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low? Then that would mean that we're still trading between this lower high and this lower low, right? In the same case, could we just say, okay, let's exclude this entire move here? Let's say that this is all part of the same trend where we have lower low, lower high, lower low. This gap never happened, so we're still trading, right? Boom. This change of character, higher high, and this low. Could we say that too? Which is something that would make sense, right? This would be just an inverse shoulder head shoulder. What we would need to see for price to tell us is going to go higher and give us a steeper pullback, or if price is going to reject these highs, would be if price comes to these highs, gives us a rejection of the highs to then go lower, or this is where price is going to give us the break and retest to give us a steeper pullback on the higher time frame. So that's just kind of my way of being able to see, okay, what's right, what's wrong, what kind of structure do we see, what do we not see, and what could we anticipate for the rest of the, not only for the rest of the week, but for the rest of the month too. So that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy. I thought, man, everybody was hyping up the charts this fucking week. Yo, it's gonna be good. I thought I was gonna see something crazy. Nothing. You guys are some damn liars, man. We have a lot of low probability trades, that's for sure. A lot of low probability trades. So now let's look at Mike's homework, man. Well, not even homework. He did. I want to share my analysis for next week. He said, AU, since we're in level 3 drop, we're looking for price bounce off the 50, which is currently happening. Yeah, we talked about that. Perfect. On the 4, we have a 4-hour steep enough of a pullback, which is also true. Right on the 4-hour, we do have a lower low, lower high, lower low. On the 30-minute, we had 3 days, and after that, market much sharper drops. We could look for lower time frame change of character, BOS, or engulfing. That is correct. Euro AUD. Daily, we're at a higher high. Right. Daily, we're at a higher high. At the 4, we have a steep enough pullback for a bounce off the 50. Right. We are at a higher high. We wouldn't really call this a pullback, just more of a zone of consolidation. But yes, right off the 50. And then 30-minute 372. Valid, but only thing is on the daily, we're at a higher high. Correct. 15-minute engulfing due to daily time frame. Right, and then you also have the fact that that's going counter trend. Daily at a higher, it's the same pair. What is this? EURCAD now. EURCAD at a higher high, also an exhaustion candle, exactly. 4-hour has a decent pullback. Yo, for fucking crying out loud, give me a second, guys. man. Like, I gotta stop calling. I'm gonna disconnect my phone, bro. Stop getting phone calls. Um, yeah, 4 hour just hasn't given us a break. So technically speaking, this pullback really isn't anything. Since we never got the break of structure, this is just really, again, zone of consolidation. Could we say in the lower time frames, yeah, it's a pullback, but again, just makes it low probability. EURCAD 30-minute 372. Yeah, and then again, the fact that price never gave us that break of structure on the 4 hour, and the fact that we're just trading between the change of character and is not a break, also makes this low probability. And then you said EURCAD, we have the change of character, but also the daily exhaustion. So exactly. So right now there's just really not enough good data for us to look for that trade. Euro USD daily time frame higher, looking for another candle to confirm the break, and we could expect price to pull back and bounce off the 200, which is true because we're on level 2. We also got the cross of the 50 and the 200 above, so everything's on an uptrend right now. 4 hour, we're at a higher high as well, you said, which is exactly that. My bad if you're typing in chat, guys. I'm going through this. I'm just going through Mike's messages. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the chat. I'll get to it when I'm done with this. Yep, EURUSD, we're sitting at a higher high, 30-minute 372. But again, the fact that we're sitting at the higher high and we have a third week, would have loved to have seen another, like I was saying earlier, would have loved to have seen some other confirmations, whether it was a real break of structure first, and then the pullback, or if we were still trending, not sitting at a higher high, if we would have been somewhere else in the structure, we would have taken an easy trade. But EURUSD could still be a good trade. EURUSD and GCAD are pretty much. Oh, that was it. Okay, I thought I was gonna see more. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then 372, not high probability with the daily and the 4 hour. Yeah, exactly. So, that's good though. 30 minutes only. No problem, my brother. Slow as week, then it could be good. Like I said, right now we don't really have. Could it be a slow as week? Absolutely. I'm definitely bracing myself to have that type of week. But again, there is enough trades and there are enough pairs for us to at least be able to see 1 to 2 trades at least. We definitely look better than last week. That's for sure. But no, it's all about being patient. Like, we know what we're trading, right? That's the end of the day. That's really what matters. Is, do we know where we're at? Do we know where we're trading at? If the answer is yes, then again the trade is gonna come. The trade is gonna happen. I'd be worried if we didn't know where we were at, if we didn't know what we were trading. That'd be a completely different conversation. So right now we just gotta be patient. Just wait for our entries to be given, and then we'll take it once we have the rules. Once our rules are being present in the chart, that's when we'll start taking a trade. Alright guys, any other questions, anything else you guys want me to go over? If not, then that's pretty much it for today, and then we'll be back again tomorrow morning for the live trading session. Later today I'll post this the what is it, the calendar for this week, right, where I'll do the streams. I already said this on Word of Wisdom for the week. What do you mean? On the 14th and the 15th, or no, not the 14th, the 15th and the 16th, I'll be late to do the isolation sessions for the 15th and the 16th. So I'll most likely do the isolation sessions for this week on YouTube. I'll do it the 14th and the 15th, and then tomorrow's isolation session, Thursday and Friday's isolation session, we'll do it on WAP, and then the live trading sessions, they'll be normal, or at least they should be normal. I don't have anything planned right now. Any advice for us looking into the new week, man? Same advice, man. Just follow your rules. The market does the same thing every single day. The same type of moves every single day. It's really just do your work, man. Just do your work. Be patient. Look for your rules. If your rules are being played out, then you take a trade. If your rules aren't being played out, then don't take a trade. Just sit on your hands. No need to force a trade. No need to lose a trade when you don't need to. You know, we show it here time and time again every single time. One trade. That's all you need is one trade. One trade is your monthly paycheck working a regular job. Doesn't matter where you work at. One trade, you're making everything. Now, one loss, different story. How you taking the loss? You know, what type of loss did you take? Did you take a high probability, low probability? Did you risk 1% or did you risk 10%? So, you just gotta keep it cool, calm, and collected, guys. Cool, calm, and collected. No problem, no problem. Alright, guys, have a good rest of your weekend. Love you all, love you too, my brother. Um, have a good rest of your weekend. Take this time to decompress. Come back tomorrow morning, ready to trade. You guys already have your charts updated. At least you should have it updated already by this time. So we already know what we're looking for. Not gonna be too stressful of a week. And then I'll let you guys know. I'll post the links to the YouTube stream for tomorrow morning before the session starts. 7 a.m. Be there, be square. Peace out, guys.